Moving on, Syria may be in for another gas attack. The Syrian ambassador to the UN says insurgents are plotting to carry out a chemical attack around the capital, Damascus. In a letter to the UN Security Council, Bashar al-Jaafari warned that based on intercepted communications, some militants are preparing for a chemical attack and already distributing gas masks. Jaafari says the insurgents are planning to blame the assault on the Syrian government to increase pressure on Damascus. Syria saw deadly chemical attacks outside the capital in August and in Aleppo in March. A leading member of a UN inquiry commission said testimony from victims of the conflict suggests that insurgents and not the government used the nerve agent sarin outside Damascus. Joining us now is Tahsin al-Halabi via satellite from the Syrian capital, Damascus. Mr. al-Halabi is a political analyst. Sir, welcome to the program. Your thoughts on this letter by Bashar al-Jaafari?
I think we should always expect that the Israeli-American forms of aggression against Syria would continue, would not cease off, although they were retreated and relatively defeated in the last year. And this new form of trying to indict Syria responsible for certain fabricated chemical weapon would be used in certain area like Jobar, just about 3-5 kilometers from Damascus, as they did before when they fabricated on August the same accusation, and then they were naturally defeated and retreated from all accusations. It will continue. Such things USA would be trying to be always on the scene here and to use the insurgents in order to make more and more implications for the Syrian army, for the Syrian people and the Syrian government. It is ordinary that USA, following the Ukraine or Ukraine, the Ukraine crisis with Moscow, would try now to bring something more and more in pressure in the area, whether it will be directed to Syria or Iran. As Mr. Dempsey, the head of staff of the American Army, said just yesterday in a press conference with the head of staff of Israeli forces.
Mr. al-Halabi, let's look at this issue from a different perspective. In your opinion, how likely is it that, given the recent advances on the ground by the Syrian army, that insurgents might even resort to such measures?
I think now, what are we witnessing here in Damascus and near Jobar and near other areas around Damascus, the certain stepping up of the Syrian army operations against those insurgents, whether they are in Jobar or in other areas surrounding Damascus. For this reason, I think the Syrian army within a week or a few weeks would be not only victorious on all those areas, but I think that the Syrian army would have the upper hand in all the surrounding of the country of the countryside of Damascus. This is one point. The second point, in the north, now the Syrian army, even in the north, near the boundaries of Turkey, is getting more and more upper hand over all those supported by the Turkish army in the area of Kasab and in other boundaries between Syria and Turkey.
Thank you very much. Tahsin al-Halabi, political analyst, joining us from the Syrian capital, Damascus.